Elizabeth Paine is the primary caregiver for her husband John, who is living with early-onset Alzheimer's. Knowing that caregiving is complex, demanding, and busy, Elizabeth reached out to the Alzheimer's Association Maine chapter for guidance. Elizabeth, how does it feel to speak publicly?
I love it. I love the opportunity. I've always spoken out about the disease. I never wasted any of our time or energy trying to hide the disease in any way. One of my missions is to talk about the disease openly so other people feel comfortable talking about the disease openly.
So you've never been hung up about the stigma of the disease. That's a huge advantage.
It is a huge advantage. Obviously, John didn't sign up for this. He didn't do anything to get it. I mean, it's not related to any bad habits he had during his life or anything. It's completely random, out of the blue. You know, he got Alzheimer's. He doesn't even have a family history of it. So in no way is there anything that he did to cause this to happen. It just struck, like any other disease strikes.
And it's not the only disease that's had a stigma.
Yeah, I remember, in my lifetime, cancer had a stigma. You never talked about cancer. Now we talk about cancer. Depression was the same way. Breast cancer. Until Betty Ford started talking about it, same way. So, Alzheimer's is the next one that needs to come out of the closet and just be talked about and accepted. And it's so prevalent, and this country is so far behind the curve in dealing with it that we have to talk about it. You can't fix anything that you don't talk about. You can't fix Alzheimer's in your life. Hopefully we can fix it globally in terms of a cure eventually. But right now, we have to try to make our life work with Alzheimer's, because there's nothing that's going to come along that's going to help John. But until you accept it and talk about it, you can't deal with it every day. And taking care of someone with Alzheimer's takes a huge community. And unless you can talk about it, you can't ask people for help.
You live in John's world. How do you get grounded?
I mean, first of all, my reality is Alzheimer's. So I have a really weird reality right now. But support groups are critical. Alzheimer's Association gives me opportunities to speak on panels and whatnot. I started the early-onset support group here in southern Maine, and when people who are younger than normal onset for Alzheimer's, when they contact the Alzheimer's Association, they forward them to me. And I typically will meet with each person. If at all possible, I'll meet with them over coffee for a couple hours and just sort of let them ask all the questions I didn't dare ask anybody about Alzheimer's. I can say to them, it's really hard, it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be frustrated, there's a lot to learn, you're going to be impatient, you're going to lose it. All those things are okay. Coming from another caregiver and letting them know that I have all those feelings and all those days. None of us are going to be Mother Teresa. We're all going to have them. And it's a matter of taking those feelings out in ways that doesn't impact the person with dementia, because it's not their fault.